I have a number of friends who are questioning whether or not they're asking me, well, can you say that justice was served? Was there an impartial jury? We have a process for rendering justice, and we have juries for a reason, right? Because we, as members of a republic, we reject mob rule. And I was thinking about this because back and forth, mentally, I was wondering whether or not we needed protections against, perhaps media attempts to sabotage jury pools when judges don't fully sequester. But then I thought, no, that's not good on First Amendment grounds. I'm not a Democrat. But this assumes, though, and keep this in mind, that fully sequestering the jury would have in any way blunted the reality of the decision that they were making. That this decision that would have historic national impact. These jurors and potential jurors going into this knew that this was a major case. Hell, they were settling with the Floyd family during the jury pool selection. They already saw the riots. They already saw riots in other cases. And they had to know that the reaction would be the same if there was a not guilty verdict announced. They were fully aware of Maxine Waters calling for the city to burn if a guilty verdict wasn't delivered. And she was defended, by the way, not just by the Speaker of the House, but the entirety of the House who voted yesterday to not censure her. But this is what I want you to keep in mind for the third point. You all remember the case of Darren Wilson, correct? Darren Wilson, the officer who shot and killed Mike Brown after Wilson was dispatched when a convenience store owner called police after he was assaulted on camera and robbed by Mike Brown, who walked out without paying for like a 40-something thing of cigarillos. And there was more than one forensic report that showed that not only did Brown not have his hands up, but their findings were consistent with what Wilson and other witness testimony said, that Brown had fought Wilson for control of his gun. The riots went on for weeks before the jury was selected, and throughout the whole process, family businesses and livelihoods, black-owned businesses, were burned to the ground. Livelihoods were lost. And more riots were promised if Wilson was exonerated. The media was leaking like crazy. And the grand jury, which is kind of, as I understand, customary in the case of cases of grand juries, they were wholly unsequestered. That jury was unsequestered. They heard the arguments. They saw the evidence. They heard the witness testimonies. And even with everything else that was happening all around them, the community that they called home burning down around them, they still delivered a not guilty verdict and determined that Wilson had acted in self-defense. This was a jury of people from the area. There were witnesses in this case who lived on the street where Brown was shot. There were rumors of intimidation and fear. This was a huge case. This kicked it off. This is when BLM was born. And these jurors did their best. And they made their decision as per the due process that is afforded to every person who is accused under our Constitution. And I have yet to meet an argument that will convince me that these jurors performed any less credibly than any others. And I still have yet to see an argument in the case of Derek Chauvin that these jurors performed any less credibly than any others. I bring up Darren Wilson's unsequestered grand jury as an example to you that a jury can still perform its duty even when serious threats to peace exist. Even if the mob's demands are not met by the jury's verdict.